Hello, I'm Conrad Troe, owner of Grand Circuit Products. Today I'm joined by Mike Wildenstein to help us with our product of White Lightning. He's going to go through some products on how to use, the benefits, pros and cons of it. Mike?
I think the instruction is very important. If you're going to use a product, any product, with your horses, you want to be more informed about it. And today I'm going to try to help out with that. There's all kinds of funguses and bacteria in the air. They're on our skin, they're on our horse's skin, and sometimes they get overpopulated. Certain types of funguses get overpopulated, and they can create issues. The horse's hoof is made of keratin proteins, and there's certain funguses called keratinolytic protein funguses that attack the horse's hoof, just like they would our fingernails or toenails. And with time, as we mature, or after we've had more damage to our fingernails or toenails, they are more susceptible to it. And a horse's foot is traumatized all the time. Also the environment. If you're in a tropical environment like southern Florida, you have more funguses than somebody that may be in New Mexico. And they need to be controlled at times. The funguses can completely erode the hoof from the inside out or from the outside in, depending on the colony that's growing there. In every different environment, every barn, one foot to another, those colonies could be different. The great aspect about the White Lightning is that it takes care of all of them and cleans it up so that you can oxidize it or get oxygen to it. Those funguses that are growing inside the hoof wall or inside the outer shell are called subfungal funguses and do best without oxygen. So they're anaerobic. And so the White Lightning will oxidize those areas, and it creates an environment that's not conducive to fungal growth. The funguses don't do well in it, and so they die off. It's been a good year for funguses. The environment has been moist, it's been warm, everything is great. If you want to grow mushrooms, this is the time of year to do it. And Kentucky's a good place to do it right now. And our horses are susceptible to it. You get rain rot, which is fungus, scratches on the legs, it's a fungus. And we have foot problems. If there's splits, and every time there's a split or a crack in the hoof wall, that creates an environment that's conducive to fungal growth. Diseases like laminitis or stretched laminae can create areas with a great environment for funguses to grow in, and this year it's especially good. It's interesting that the feed companies, your horse feed, your dog food, will monitor the fungal spores in the air and keep track of them so they can add the fungicides necessary to control those funguses without overdoing it. And so it varies completely. I live in the Northeast, and every time a hurricane goes through Florida and comes up the coast, it brings fungal spores that the horses and us are not used to and can create problems. So there's times of year that it's much more important to take care of these things than others. With that crack, we want to make sure that it is cleaned up before we do a soak. And the soak is really effective because you're using the stabilized chlorine solution, mixing it with a mild acid. We're going to use vinegar today, and that creates chlorine dioxide gas. If we were to just put this hoof into a bucket or a soaking dish, nothing's going to get into those cavities up in that hoof wall. But with this product, you have the chlorine dioxide gas that is emitted from that will go up in and destroy the spores up in there. Just because you do it today doesn't mean that those fungal spores are gone forever. If the horse is in the same environment, it will be susceptible to a reinfection within a few days. So it may have to be done on a regular basis if the environment is conducive to fungal growth. Well, so the hoof needs to be cleaned off. The soak is not as effective if there's a lot of organic material. So it's so important to clean off the hoof, clean off the hairline, clean out the crack, get the dirt and the debris out of there, the manure and dirt and stuff from underneath the foot. Clean all of that off because that's going to make your soak less effective. Ginger's been out running about, so I'm going to make sure I get the dirt and the debris off of the lower limb and also off of the outside of the hoof. Just get rid of the material there. All of that will make your soak less effective. The shoe will also make your soak less effective, but I understand that there are times where it's necessary to leave a shoe on because of therapeutic reasons, things like that. All I'm going to say is it's not quite so effective with that shoe on, but it can still be done. It is going to oxidize the metal. If it's a steel shoe, it will be rusty, but it's not going to hurt the shoe or the horse. And so I prefer to get the shoe off and clean it up. If you're going to do regular soakings, I understand where that is not an option, that you'll have to leave the shoe on. Just understand that you may have to do it more often because it's not as effective. When I'm brushing that hoof, I want to go from the heel to the toe. It's effective, and I'm less likely to get the bristles in a place that's uncomfortable for the horse. I'll clean that dirt out of there. Clean up some of the loose debris here. The White Lightning is available in a couple of different sizes. We're going to use a 1/4 cup of the White Lightning, a 1/4 cup of the white vinegar. The important factor is when you measure it, you want half and half. And it's important to measure. And don't put your face right over the solution. So I'll put the White Lightning in there. This product is used for quite a few things. When I was researching it, I found out that it was used to clean up hospitals and municipal water supplies, other fungal activity that takes place in very clean institutions. So, 1/4 cup, another 1/4 cup. This is the vinegar. We'll bring it up to a 1/2 cup. And I find that this is best if you let it sit for a few minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, maybe half hour is perfect. That allows the mixture to get working. It has the greatest efficiency, and it's not efficient for that long of a period of time. Right? So give it a few minutes to sit. Use a clear bag because I want to see if there is any organic material. Right? So if the bag gets muddy in a hurry, it's time to take it off, mix it up again, and put another soak on there. My goal is 30 to 40 minutes of a clean soak. So if I have to change the bag 3 times because I got lazy and didn't clean up the hoof and the leg, then you want 30 to 40 minutes with a clean soak, even if you've changed the solution 3 times. And the other thing is the top of the bag needs to be closed because it's the gases that come off of that are cleaning up your hoof. And it's not necessary to have the horse's hoof buried in your solution. Just a small amount on the bottom is plenty because it's the gases coming off of this that are doing all the things that we want. Use vet wrap or your favorite tape to put that on there. And I want to close it up just at the hoof head. So we want to make sure that the horse is used to a plastic bag before we try this. Some of them don't really care to have a bag on their foot. It's not going to work in a bucket because you're not closing the top. We know that she's okay with it because we have experienced it before. put the bag on, let it stand on it, and then I'm going to just collect the bag around there and just a quick wrap. And we'll wait. See if the bag gets dirty, we'll change it. If it doesn't get dirty, I want 30 to 40 minutes of a soak. These bags are available from Grand Circuit. They're a great soaking bag. It allows you to see the material, see what's going on, keep track of it. If it's muddy, change it out. And the vinegar comes from the grocery store, White Lightning. You can get the larger container if you have a lot of soaking to do. Ginger's been in the bag for a while. I'm just going to pick it up and look from the bottom and maybe give it a little shake. That fluid up in there some more. And you can already see that the frog is cleaning up. The sole is very white and clean. And all these gases are going up into those old nail holes and up into the fissure she has in the front of that foot and doing what they're supposed to do. When I look at this soak, it is getting yellowish, but it's not muddy, so it's still an effective soak. If it's muddy, brown, you need to change the bag, change the solution. This is acceptable. I was able to get the hoof pretty clean, so we are not having a problem with organic material. Once the soak is complete, I'll remove that bag. I'll dry off the hoof. If I have a serious infection, I may want to put some of the gel in there and just put a vet wrap bandage on there to hold it in. Find that the gel is effective for about 17 hours, and that's going to depend on the environment. But that'll help clean that up for a longer period of time. Otherwise, she's going to need a shoe put on because she does have a weakness in her hoof, and I want to give that hoof some integrity so she can heal and not split that out more. And then the next few soaks will be with the shoe on, noting that it's going to be less effective, but making sure I keep to the 3-day schedule, or 3 times a week schedule in soaking her. And it's amazing how fast you'll heal up a fungal infection or an abscess that has busted out on the horse's foot. All right. Because she's got a large fissure here, I'm just going to put some gel in there. Might as well put some on the outside of the hoof wall there too. And give it a wrap, and that will increase the effectiveness of your soak and make it last a little longer. For most of these hoof funguses, they're anaerobic, so they don't like oxygen. So I'd leave this on overnight and then get the wrap off so we have more oxygen going to that area.